Hello, I'm Rod Walton. I'm Content Director with Power Engineering at PowerGen International. And I'd like to welcome you to our chat with Mr. Bernerd Santos, who is Chief Operations and Infrastructure Officer with AES Corp. Mr. Santos has been Executive Vice President and COO with AES for more than 5 years now. He's responsible for the company's massive operations, which include, I believe, 30,000 megawatts of generation capacity and 6 utilities, which serve millions of customers. He has also served AES in many other leadership roles through his time there. Mr. DeSantos, it's a joy to have you with us. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this and also to be a part of the Leadership Summit at PowerGen International.
No, thank you very much, Rod. It's always a pleasure to be with you and let's make it just a very nice conversation about the different topics and share with everyone.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started. And I think really topic number one is the story of the year, maybe the story of the century, and that's COVID-19. And I'd like to talk to you about how the coronavirus has directly impacted operations with AES and the challenges that you guys have faced.
Well, certainly the coronavirus has affected us all, no? And has made us to rethink, adjust, and the way that we live and the way that we work. So it has been everywhere. At AES, safety is our first value, and we take that very seriously. When we started the pandemic, we actually fixed 4 objectives that actually has been driving everything that we do through the pandemic. And the first one is really the safety and the health of our people, our contractors and our communities, and our loved ones. We want to actually encompass and engage with all of them. The second actually has been the continuous operation of the resiliency of the operation in order to provide really delivering electricity and energy in this time of most need. So we actually have done that to all of our communities. I think the third one has been, we always talk liquidity, cash has been an area of focus, but also the supply chain in order to actually have all the parts and equipment, in place to have that resilience operation, that continued operation. And last one, really engagement with our communities, really supporting our communities to our people. So I must say that we're very proud for everything that AES is doing, very proud of all of our people. We have making segregation of our functions. We have separated our teams in order to reduce the minimum the exposure to the COVID and actually get the resiliency. We have been very fortunate, and we are about 25,000 people between AES employees and contractors, and we have active cases as of now of 126 actually by this morning. Wow. So we believe that we have been very successful. Our people are taking discipline, all the guidance and procedures and protocols. So we feel blessed, honestly, in the way that our people are operating, and we recognize them, we appreciate them, and we reward them in a way that we actually can continue to this performance.
Yeah, and it's such a challenging time, and our thoughts go out to those that are dealing with it right now on a personal level, of course. But sounds like you guys are you kind of definitely thought through a plan there. Now, I want to talk a little bit outside of that. Destination 2050 is going to be a theme at the Leadership Summit at PowerGen and Distributech. But I want to look a little closer to 2030 and kind of how do you see the electric power industry evolving in 10 years? What is that going to look like?
I think we all agree that the renewable energy and the batteries fundamentally are reshaping all the electricity system, and both of them are actually moving every time with a lower cost. So I think the economics are there, the reliability is there, and the technology is actually moving in that direction. So we are very confident, at least for us, that by 2030, AES will have transformed its energy matrix to be the primarily renewables and less than 10% coal generation. So we're very sure of that. We will also be a more digital-centric company by then and driven new growth through digital-enabled products and services. So that is really when we see the scheme of AES. 2030 and 2020, there are 2 key years in AES. 2020, we are actually hitting less than 30% on a coal generation in our portfolio, and the 2030 will be less than 10%. Many are looking forward in the 2050, and I think with the values of AES and the mission of AES, and we want to be there to share that success. So we want to be here. We are committed, and we are going to be accountable, and we are going to stand for it. Consumers actually prefer clean energy sources of energy. So that is another driver for the 2050, 2045, to those years that we see there. Countries, cities, states, companies around the globe are committing to 100% renewables. It's very few companies that are actually not pursuing that goal. Technology and innovation continue to drive down the price for solar, for wind, and the levelized cost of energy average has fallen probably more than 60%. By 2050, that will be probably even more for that. The cost of wind of energy has dropped another 36% by 2030. And that is where everybody's looking and everybody's seeing. COVID may delay a little bit of that, but the trend will continue to be there. So there is, I don't think there is any way that, that companies, countries, or cities will achieve the 2050, 2055, 2045. I think rather than be in the year, we need to be in the range. Because as I mentioned before, the transition need to be responsible. The energy need to be there, need to be reliable. The system need to be prepared. Not every country have the same resources to achieve that sooner, or others probably will take a little bit longer. So we are going to be with them. We are going to accompany them in order to do this goal. And we at AES, we commit for the 2030, and we're looking forward for the 2030. So as Andres has indicated many times, we are accountable for and we stand behind that goal.
Very good. Well, looking outside of AES, kind of industry-wide, where do you see the opportunities and challenges in that transition for other companies that maybe are, a little wary?
Yeah, that is an excellent question. I think talking from our experience, pivoting our strategy towards renewables and low carbon technologies, that allows us to capture, opportunities. I think we were mentioned that it's a lot of opportunities that you can capture when you serve our customers, and honestly, for all the years to come. And so the first one, I think the first step is taking the commitment. I think the first step needs to be a commitment to accelerate that transformation to a greener and more sustainable. So start for the commitment for the countries, start for the commitment for the authorities, start for the commitment for the companies. I think start there, the willingness to actually do it. Customers, nations, and energy markets really looking for different sources of energy, fulfilling to build out that renewable capacity and expanding that opportunity to provide, the reliability that is needed in the grid. Build in the vision for being a world leading sustainable power company is the right thing to do, and believe in the local and national policies that support that cleaner form of energy. And that will continue, that actually will pivot to continue to materialize those across the markets. And I will say for a very long period of time. I think renewables has come, is going to stay, has the price, has the reliability. The technology is actually developing significantly. And I think many companies, many markets are going to capitalize that. They will be in a better competitive position, and the dynamics actually are going to be more favorable for a clean power generation. I think that is they come, they will stay for longer, and the trends, everything indicate that will be there. Investments is a challenge, okay? So right. Investment is a challenge that need to be the willing. I think we need to think about this in three players that need to be in every market. I think need to be the willingness of the government authorities in order to have the right policies and the right guidance in place. Need to be the financial institutions, the multilaterals, the bilaterals, the financial, in order to support those investments in those countries, and need to be the private sector. The private sector need to be leading that growth, leading that effort. I think
Right.
if this willingness exists in these three aspects, I think most of the challenge actually will be barriers that we are going to succeed and overcome.
Yeah, very much true. The future is here. We're headed that, we're headed that way. We're already seeing it en route, I think. So to finish up though, I want to get a little personal here, and you have a unique backstory and your family tree and where you came from. And I think it's just one of those great stories about how you got from there to here. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, thank you, Rod. I born in Venezuela. I am Venezuelan, and I am in the 50s, mid 50s right now. I have the beauty in order to be in a multicultural family,
Mm-hmm.
and actually in a multicultural organization. So for my family, I have a root for many places. My father have root from British and side and Irish. That is a little bit totally different from where I come from in
Yeah.
Venezuela. From my mother's side, actually, my grandfather was Mexican. Actually, there is a good story about him that my mother always tells me that that he fought with Pancho Villa.
Wow.
Pancho Villa
Yeah.
in the war in Mexico and the US. And there is I remember to see a picture of that at home and asking questions to him. His name, Sixto Avila, is the name of my grandfather. And I'm root from Venezuela. My wife is Italian. So I have some um, adjustments in the middle in order to take
Yeah.
from the Italy side.
Yeah.
And I have some Brazilian roots as well. And I start to work very early in my career and in my life. I started about 10 years old. I was in a
Wow.
farmer market. And so I went every 3 days a week. I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go to the farmer market to pick up the food, package. And after that, I go to the school and to continue my education. And then I work in a school as an administrator in a school during the days because I was studying at night. And then my first movement to energy sector was in 1984 when I started as an office boy in Electricidad de Caracas. That was the private
Right.
electric company in Venezuela. Since then, I work during the day. I study at night. I start to actually it's very good thing about to be an office boy. You met everyone in the company. That is amazing. So I think they saw that that I was doing my work right and a good job, and I start to escalate all my career. I graduate, be working in Electricidad Caracas. I met too many good managers that has been my mentors, and they have actually what I am today is thanks to many of them that actually shaped my career, shaped my
Mm.
knowledge, and be the person that I am today with my strengths and my weakness. Um, my father has been a very good mentor for me. He teach me three things that I always mention to everyone. The first one is, Bernerd, you need to learn something new every day. You
Wow.
really need to sit down at night and see what you learn. The second one, please, you need to surround yourself for people that are better than you in your work, in your teammates, in sport. Surround yourself for people that are better than you. And the other one, never came with the idea that you know everything, because what you know is so small in everything that exists that is you always need to be engagement in and embracing the learning.
Right.
So very good thoughts on that end from my father. I continue my career in the industry. I have been right now, we're in 2020, so that means 36 years in the energy sector, and I have
Yeah.
been in finance and have been in operation. Um, the title that I have right now as a chief operating officer of AES is a title for our people, and you are only a human being that are carrying the responsibility of the organization, but that responsibility and that title belong to our people. You are here in order to open the path, to remove the barriers, to make things happen for them so they can do the job that they are doing right now during this pandemic, and doing that well and doing that safely.
Well, that's great advice from your dad, by the way. Fantastic. And I can see how you got from there to here with such great mentors. I think that's so important. And I just want to thank you again for agreeing to be here, Mr. Bernerd Santos, who is Chief Operations and Infrastructure Officer with AES. We thank you for your time, sir, and love to see you at PowerGen here in the near future.
For sure, Rod, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to be with you. I just want to ask you one thing that I do with all my teams in every meeting here in AES.
Yes.
In order to defeat this pandemic, there are at least 3 things that we can do. That is, wash your hands often, physical distancing, and if you are exposed or you are in public, wear a mask or a face cover.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 things really will prevent, and will defeat this pandemic. So thank you, Rob.
Thank you very much, and stay safe, sir. Great talking to you.
Stay safe.